So I want to talk to you guys about the idea of a buffer food. A buffer food is a type of food that might not be considered good or healthy, but is actually really helpful for you in your diet because it is very satiating and it prevents you from eating other foods. So a perfect example of this are these chips by Late July that are lime. And my husband and I really like these chips. And we're the type of people that eat a mostly paleo style diet because that works the best for us. And because we are committed to that style of diet, we don't have a lot of processed foods around or even that many carbohydrates. But the idea of a buffer food is really helpful because a buffer food helps you be more satisfied or less likely to eat something else later on. And so chips are that way, definitely for me, because I've found with my self-experimentation with diet over the years that if I have a little bit of carbohydrate with a meal, even if it's just, a very small handful of chips or a couple of chunks of sweet potato or, whatever it is, that actually helps me last longer to the next meal, and it decreases any sort of cravings for, chocolate that I might have or anything sugary. And it also helps to keep my blood sugar balanced, more stable. My blood sugar is more stable. So, if we look at the grand scheme of things, the idea of these chips might not be the most healthy example because they have sunflower and safflower oil in there, which are pretty much the new canola oil, which we know is not good for you. But, for the meal that I just ate, which was some leftover protein and salsa and avocado and lettuce from the night before, a little bit of these chips is perfect for me because now I'm gonna sail on to dinner and not be hugely hungry, not be preoccupied with food while I'm with patients. And a buffer food can really be whatever food tends to work for you. And you guys probably know what these foods are without me even having to tell you. Another really good one, especially for me, is a banana. I do really well sometimes on a full banana or a half of banana, depending on what my workout load is. And, for another person, a banana might be a total wreck for their blood sugar. So we all have these foods that end up helping us, even though they are not considered healthy, whether it's they have bad oils in them or they have a lot of carbohydrates or they have sugars. I use the example about a banana because bananas get a lot of flack for not having or for having a lot of naturally occurring sugars. But they're not necessarily bad in and of themselves, and no food is inherently bad. But those are just stupid labels that we put on them as humans. There are foods that are healthier for you and less healthier for you. And buffer foods are those things that, can help you be more satisfied with what you're eating. One last good example is a glass of wine. Somebody might have a glass of wine with dinner, and that helps them be more calm and happy about what they've eaten, even if it's just a steak, some mashed potatoes, and some vegetables. But if that person doesn't have that wine, they might feel like they're looking for dessert, which might turn into a brownie or might turn into something like a huge thing of ice cream. So I love the concept of buffer foods because I feel like it helps us all really get more clear on what our goals are for our diets. And it helps kind of take away some of the stigma behind foods that aren't necessarily the perfect foods for us to be eating, but they help us get where we need to go in terms of our goals. So if you've never heard of this concept of buffer foods, this is something that I've learned from my friend and colleague, Dr. Jade Tita. So shout out to Dr. Jade. And if you guys have not read any of his posts or books or materials, definitely go look him up. But I've been using this in my own life for years, and it has made all of the difference. And so try it. Find out what your buffer foods are and see how you can improve your diet and your satiety.